What would happen if all the glaciers melted in a single day? A disaster beyond imagination would begin. People say ancient viruses are sleeping inside the ice. Would those viruses overwhelm humanity? Let's start with the conclusion. It's unlikely. Glaciers and permafrost do contain ancient microbes and viruses, but they are weak when exposed to sunlight, air, and salt water. If everything melted in a single day and mixed into rivers and oceans, most would quickly lose strength. The real threat is not viruses but sewage, industrial pollution, stagnant water, and exploding mosquito populations. When cities flood, sewage and industrial waste mix together. Stagnant water increases, and bacterial waterborne diseases spread. Mosquitoes surge. In short, glacier viruses are less dangerous than failed water management. The Arctic Ocean loses its mirror overnight. As sea ice disappears, polar bears lose their hunting platforms and swim farther and longer. When exhausted, they come ashore and try to survive on birds, eggs, and carrion. But the calories are too low to raise cubs well. Ringed and bearded seals see their snow dens collapse, leaving pups exposed to cold winds. As the sea opens up, orcas travel deeper into waters once blocked by ice and target seals and young whales more often. As the seawater becomes fresher and stratification locks in, surface prey becomes disorganized. Seabirds like puffins and storm petrels must fly farther and longer as prey shifts deeper. Belugas and narwhals feel their way through the water as traditional migration routes become confused. Walruses, forced onto land, crowd narrow beaches, and when they panic and stampede, subadults face a high risk of being crushed. In Antarctica, emperor penguins that breed on winter sea ice are thrown into confusion. When the ice disappears, chicks without waterproof feathers fall into the water, and entire colonies can fail. Krill grow under sea ice by feeding on ice algae, but with less ice, their numbers swing wildly. Chinstrap penguins, Adelie penguins, and baleen whales that depend on krill must travel farther and forage longer. Seals struggle to find ice cracks for breathing holes, and there are fewer safe ice floes on which to give birth. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. Overnight, the world's glaciers turn to water. Sea level rises sharply. Many people think that when sea level rises, it rises the same everywhere. But surprisingly, it does not. Where large ice sheets disappear, weaker gravity lets local sea level drop slightly, while regions farther away rise more. Major cities at river mouths are especially vulnerable. Seawater moves upstream. Massive freshwater floods submerge city centers. What about the climate? In the short term, the North Atlantic can cool. A huge inflow of cold freshwater weakens the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, AMOC. Climate chaos follows. Europe cools, while other regions heat up at the same time. Along the coasts, warm air meets cold freshwater and fog forms often. However, in the long term, Earth warms because it loses the reflective power of ice. Ocean ecosystems also shake. The surface becomes fresher, layers lock in more tightly, and deep nutrients cannot rise. Plankton declines, and the food chain becomes unstable. Salmon lose their spawning routes, and corals weaken due to changes in water clarity and salinity. Some algae and jellyfish, however, may thrive. Results vary by region. Urban infrastructure is hit immediately. Subways, communication and power conduits, and data centers are flooded. Harbors face changes in depth and currents, and operating rules must be rewritten. Coastal energy facilities must withstand extreme waves and floating debris. Meanwhile, large inland freshwater lakes can form, becoming new water resources and tourist assets. Earth's physics also changes. As mass is redistributed, Earth's rotation slows slightly, and the length of a day increases by milliseconds. Agriculture and our food supply change as well. Riverside farmland is washed away, and seawater seeps into coastal aquifers. Major grain belts move northward or to higher elevations. Changes in salinity can even affect the flavor balance of some traditional fermented foods. Human civilization does not collapse immediately. Highland cities and inland transport networks become central hubs. If sea transport falters, railways and inland waterways take over. But let's be real. Melting everything in one day would require an unrealistic amount of energy. This is a thought experiment, but the message is clear. As ice decreases, sea level rises, and our climate, ecosystems, cities, and agriculture all shake together.